Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this video, we'll be going over the email that Dori Monson talked about in the last video.
An incredibly disturbing trend in our society is social justice warriors and government trying to take control of kids from parents. And I had an exclusive story. This was a few years ago now. A Seattle high school, a girl at the high school got pregnant, and the high school counselors arranged for a taxi, arranged for her to have an abortion. Parents were not notified. The parents were cut completely out of the equation because a public high school believed, government employees believed that they knew better how to run this girl's life or how to advise this girl than her parents. And so they didn't even tell the parents when they arranged for this girl to get an abortion, and they arranged the transportation and everything. And this is a significant issue. The parents are losing control of their kids. And it's, this increased intensity of just whack jobs that are gaining control. And, I don't know anything about the parents of the 13-year-old vandal who spray painted City Hall, but she's out with, 25-year-old guy who, she says gave her the can of spray paint and, on a Friday afternoon. And that's because activists want to get control of our kids. And sometimes it has literally life-changing consequences.
Yeah, so I'm going to jump in right here and say, social justice warriors, they don't do anything actually beneficial for anyone. They just cry, they complain, and they do nothing at the end of the day. And look at the government. Most of that they get involved in gets jacked up. They overthink, overprocess everything.
I got an email from a mom, and she asked me to share it with you because I know some parents who have gone through this exact scenario. Dear Dori, I've been a listener for over 10 years. I think you're fair-minded and tough. Recently, I've heard you share about some people in society who are pushing for a gender-free world with the drag queen shows at the library and calling male criminals women. I felt like I had to write you and tell you that our family is being destroyed by people pushing that agenda. I hope to warn other parents, especially parents in the Seattle area, about what is happening. And if they think it does not apply to them because their kids have never expressed any gender confusion, then they are just like we were the day before it slammed us. If you, and then she starts telling me about rapid onset gender dysphoria, which I know a little bit about because I have some friends who've been dealing with that in their family. She says, it happens in the teen years, usually to girls who have body image problems like hating their body size or their weight, girls who had early onset puberty and who spend too much time online. These are not my descriptions. They're from an academic study, and they're exactly like what happened to our daughter. I feel so stupid because I work in the school system, and I never thought anyone would ever take seriously an adolescent experiment like what we used to call gender bending. My God, I was wrong. When it hits, it comes out of the blue like that. Our daughter had been a happy kid who dabbled in gymnastics and track and loved running long races with her girlfriends. Then she developed early and had full breasts and hips by age 12. She was anxious and uncomfortable, as many girls with early puberty are, and I'm used to seeing it where I worked in schools. She wore baggy sweatshirts and stopped doing that required being dressed any other way. One day she was putting on makeup, wearing clothes she had chosen because our family had never told our kids how to dress other than to be clean and modest. And the next day, she was a boy. Then we made the biggest mistake of our lives. We took her to a pediatrician who referred us to, and I'm not going to name the local hospital, but it's a very prominent local hospital, to a local hospital gender clinic. He said they would help her figure this out. We were very confident going to the hospital because they're world famous for helping kids, and because it was totally obvious our daughter is not trans. She'd never been in her entire life or questioned her gender. We were absolute fools. The so-called therapists literally told her she was a boy. Not that she felt like one, but that she was a boy, because gender has nothing to do with sex. The day she left this hospital clinic, she even told us the doctors agreed and she wanted top surgery. That was 6 weeks ago, and now I'm writing to you from Arizona, where our family has moved. It's almost impossible to find a therapist in Seattle who will actually do therapy with these kids because they all just say, yep, you're a boy. The ones we found are in Olympia and Spokane, and they're booked solid. The ones in Seattle will not go public. And by the way, let me add to this. I know this is true. I know this. I'm not reading a random email for the sake of reading a random email. I know a lot about this subject from friends who have dealt with similar issues. And I know the truth of everything this mom's writing to me. She said, Dori, we learned that our daughter was raped in her first year of junior high by a boy at our church group camp event. And her therapists in Arizona are convinced that's what's led to her delusion of being a boy. They think it may take years to deal with that trauma, and our daughter has been on safety watch for 4 weeks since we got her in. She's being watched 24/7 so she doesn't kill herself. At the place we have our daughter, a whole bunch of kids are from Seattle, and a whole bunch of them are non-binary or pansexual or gender fluid. And from talking to other parents in our support meetings, when the kids announced they felt that way, everything got worse. We are in the minority of parents who are not backing the surgeries and hormones for these kids. Dori, I'm a nutritionist. I'm told caffeine and nicotine will stunt kids' growth, and I'm to believe that surgeries and hormones are okay. My warning to other parents in Seattle who have girls, teach them right now about sex and gender being the same thing. Show them pictures of the bodies of people who have been mutilated by these surgeries. Show them the device men have to use to keep open the wound doctors create in the crotches of men.
So here's a photo of the devices that the men had to put into inside the wound, and they had to do this multiple times a day just to keep it open.
They have to keep that device in the wound, and it goes on and on. And then she closes by saying, this has torn our family apart. Our daughter has told us in no uncertain terms she can never feel loved by us or safe in our home unless we immediately call her our son. She's told us that the minute she's out of therapy, she's going to escape back to Seattle and go to Planned Parenthood and get testosterone, and Planned Parenthood is now advertising they do that. We'll fight with our whole lives for our daughter. I've already left my job. My husband's on leave from his, looking for new work he can do from home, so he won't have to be in an office. We have our daughter in a residential care facility. Please warn parents. We are in desperate trouble. I cannot go public because the schools are so insane. So anyway, this mom reached out to me, wanted me to reach out to you. Now, I've said all along, if an adult, you're, 20, 25, 30 years old, you want to change, you should be allowed to. Big deal. But it's none of our business. But this is a campaign. It's a crusade. It's a mission by activists to change the gender of children. And, I played for you the audio a couple of weeks ago of the couple down in Berkeley. Their biological daughter is a boy and their biological son is a girl. It's not coincidence. That's two parents who have decided that they need and crave attention, and they are willing to use their own children. It's like that Munchausen syndrome by proxy. They're willing to use their children so mom and dad can get attention by this activist community. And so when this mom reached out to me, wanted to share her story with you, I think that's indicative not just of this issue, but whether it's the climate activists who are turning 13-year-old articulate girls into vandals, and on and on. It's like every subject, every issue. They use our children as the battleground.
Wow. Can you guys believe that would happen in Seattle? Dude, this child was raped. Parents took her to the hospital to get therapy, and the doctor or therapist, whatever you want to call the person, they told them that the daughter is transgender. This is crazy. And if you fight them or go against them, they would get, if you can, Child Protective Services to come in and take your child away. these parents, they did the right thing. They fled to a normal, common sense state like Arizona. But you know what? Who knows how long this could be lasting for? Because Arizona's probably be turning blue pretty soon because there's too many crazy people. Like today, I was debating people on a app that are here in Arizona in my neighborhood. They do not believe in these stories. They think they're fake. It's not true. And they support teachers and doctors and all stuff. It's just fucking nuts. But anyway, guys, on November 3rd, you go out there and vote. Vote red, vote Republican, vote for Trump. He's the last hope that we have for the United States to save us from the radical left. So we need to save our kids. They're in dire need of help right now. Have a good night, guys.